This is day 15 of 30-day articulation practice challenge. And for today, I'd like to share my experience with massage therapy. Since it was my birthday yesterday, I scheduled an appointment for a deep tissue massage at our local massage therapy place. And today was the day. As a matter of fact, I have recently come home from the massage, so that's why I wanted to make this talk while the feeling of the massage was still fresh. So I woke up and I was slowly getting prepared for my massage, getting dressed, brushing teeth, taking care of my apartment, and I was slightly late. I was maybe 4 or 5 minutes late for my massage, and despite that, the the therapist was super nice, and she pointed me to the room where I needed to be, and I went to bed and I laid face down. After a minute or so, she walked in, knocking on the door, and she started working from my back. And as she was working, I was telling her that I have some mid back to upper back issues. And she started working harder, perhaps with her knuckles or even with her elbows, because I could feel the pain, the pressure getting harder and harder. And after a minute or so, she found a couple of knots and she was trying to hold them down with her finger, I don't know, or with her fist, because once she found out, she would keep her finger in that specific knot for 10-15 seconds. I can't say it was pleasurable, but once she let it go, the pain, the discomfort that I have experienced before was, I want to say, eliminated. It was alleviated at least, because the discomfort level has decreased. And then she slowly started working from my upper back to mid back to my lower back and a little bit of glutes. And she didn't find any other knots other than the knots on my mid back. And then she started working on my hamstrings, where I told her I have a lot of tension and perhaps a lot of knots. And she sensed that, and she was working very hard on, I guess, untightening my hamstrings with her. I felt the knuckles, I felt the fingers, and a little bit of elbow on my hamstrings as well. And then she slowly went down to the calves. She worked on the calves as well. And I want to say, out of all those three departments that she had worked, perhaps the hamstrings was the most painful one, but it was tolerable. And I want to say the pain level was maybe 8.5 out of 10. It was still tolerable, but somewhat, just slightly unpleasant. But as soon as she was done with the hamstrings felt a lot better, less tight. And the same with the calves. And then she worked under the bottom of my feet for a minute or two. That felt very pleasurable and a little bit of ticklish, but we endured that as well. The most amount of pain came in when she started working on my quads. And as she was working on my quads, she was like, hey, listen, I understand that you have a lot of tension on your hamstrings, but perhaps the main issue is on your quads. Maybe maybe my hamstrings were tight because they were overcompensating the issue within my quads, because she was finding a lot of knots, a lot of tension on my quads, and she was working on them really hard. And the pain was going even higher. It was more painful than my hamstrings and calves combined. And she was holding that little muscle group for quite some time. I want to say, again, 10-15 seconds. I don't know their standard measurement. And as she was holding it down, I was barely breathing. I was holding my upper body so tight that I could relax my lower body. And she kept telling me to breathe, and as I was breathing, it has gotten easier and easier. And also, she asked me if I would like her to take it down a notch. To which I said, no, you can only take up a notch, but do not go down. And she was like, okay, you know what? I'll just keep it as it is because you're barely tolerating this amount of pain. And I was happy with that because the pain was for sure there. But at the same time, I felt a lot of release of the tension on my quads, on both of them. And apart from that, she worked on my T band, which was extremely painful as well. But once she was done with the dip tissue, the quads and hamstrings and the T band felt a lot better. After she was done with my legs, she slowly went up to working on my traps, shoulders, and my neck, which was a pleasurable experience, way less painful compared to my legs, perhaps because there were not many tight spots and there were not many knots. Maybe for that reason, it was slightly easier on me and maybe easier on her and a lot less painful. In in a matter of like just in the matter of seconds, for me, it seemed like that an hour was gone by. And this was the end of the massage, and I had to leave. I wish it could be extended for at least another hour so that I could enjoy it even more. But unfortunately, it was only 1 hour and she had another client. But regardless of the timing, the massage experience was great. I would say 9 out of 10 because I wish it could have been longer. But from the therapeutic experience, 10 out of 10 because she had found the knots, she had found the tight spots, and she did her best to untie them and work on them so that my muscles would feel maybe sore for a day or two, but it will help with my recovery, with my flexibility, with my strength, and with my functionality. So I am extremely grateful for this experience and we'll do it again in a month.